Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, bit of a challenging time for me. Definitely getting more and more tired. But you know what? I'm pushing through and damn proud of it. And that's what matters most. I know yesterday, uh, I finally admitted to something. It was a little difficult for me too. um, because when it comes to discussing like finances or what have you, I find it very difficult. Um, and I think part of it is because of upbringing and so forth. I know this hair right here just keeps bugging me. Oh well, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares? It's my video. Yeah, and I know because it was always, with growing up, it was a constant source of stress um, in the household, a lot of arguments and so forth. And I don't know, maybe because I grew up as an only child, because, excuse me, I had to grow up at a very early age. I mean, I was 4 when my mom became a diabetic, and she had several health problems um, throughout the years. And then, of course, a lot of family drama on really on both sides, and so forth. Yeah, I'm a little funky this morning because of the winds that we had last night. But anyway, um, yeah, it was all, always a constant source of stress in the household. Um, but I'm not going to go into. I know I have figured out over the years, where the issues were with my parents and so forth. In so many ways, they were not compatible. They really, really weren't. Um, but at the same point, they were both young. My mom, I think she was 19. I think my dad was 20 or something like that when they met. Um, and even the wedding itself, it was like that there was just a lot of opposing forces and so forth, based off of what I've been told by my mom anyway over the years. And I know in some ways it's like hindsight is 2020, you know. But yeah, it is what it is. But the way I look at it too is, they were who they were at that point. And just like you are where who you are right now, you're not the same person that you were, say, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even a year ago. Everybody grows and changes throughout the years and so forth. And so, you can, even if you are married or in some sort of a long term committed relationship or something, each of you are going to grow and you're going to change, and you may even grow apart. But during that time, the two of you were um, meant to be together during that time to facilitate that growth and that change. Whether it's meant to be to help groom you, I guess, for the person that you are meant to be with or whatever, or maybe it was just one of those things where you had to go through that for your growth process. So yeah, for me, with watching my parents, especially as an only child and so forth, um, I'll admit, I had to take a lot of burdens um, um, into my life at a very, very young age. But it did groom me, you know, to be the person that I am today, to see, where growth can happen, where we can make more positive changes, basically break family curses and so forth. Um, that's the way that I prefer to see it. And yeah, yesterday I admitted something. It took a lot for me to do that, quite a lot. Um, because it's something I consider to be very, very private. But at the same point, I also recognized the fact that part of this channel is for me to be vulnerable, to air things out, not just talk about things, amongst, that really tight inner circle or what have you. Um, but to be vulnerable and to show. Um, because at the core value, at the core of everything, despite everything I'm going through, and so forth, both, with what I've talked about and things that I haven't talked about, especially with my personal life, it's it's like at the core of everything. I know I'm kind of losing my train of thought because I'm really tired. To tell you the truth, really, really tired. Um, at the core, excuse me, of everything is, yeah, I've lost it. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. Um, at the core of everything is to be true to myself, and to, no matter what, to stay true to myself, stay my authentic self, and push through the negativity, the darkness, to still be the light, and to excuse me, push through the darkness that might be trying to close in. No matter what, always shine that light. And that's what matters. And part of that is, I really had no idea what I was going to talk about when I went up here. And part of that is, even though I might have people who um, might not be so I don't want to say enlightened, or who or who are backstabbing, or it isn't anything like that, who might not, we might not see eye to eye. And I'm going through that a little bit in multiple aspects of my life. But no matter what, I have to realize that we are all on different paths. And we all have to do what we feel that we need to do at that particular moment, at whatever stage we happen to be at. And you have to respect that with people. It may not be what you were hoping for or what have you. Or maybe in process things were miscommunicated, or maybe you thought something may have been happening even though it didn't start off that way or something. No matter what, throughout all of that, you have to still see the light and keep moving towards that, is what I'm trying to say. You can't let other people's actions dictate what they can't dictate you and your light and your values and your personality and so forth. Yeah. And what I'm facing right now, and I'm not bringing any of this up for any sort of sympathy, or, I'm not asking, any donations or anything like that. As I'm a person that believes I made my bed, I lie in it. When I moved out here, yeah, I took a huge risk. And my mom also took a huge risk. Unfortunately for her, it backfired. And she became disabled shortly after we moved out here. And she wasn't, because she was still married, her name was still attached to the house and so forth. Unfortunately, disability kept denying her. And there was no way in hell I was going to let her live out on the streets. And I supported her. During the last 3 years of her life. And I know she's been eternally grateful for that. And yeah, all these years later, basically almost 20 years later, I'm faced in the same situation. And it's hard. And it's scary. I have been a little scared the last couple days. But I know that there's nothing that I really could have done to change anything. I had to take care of myself first. Kind of hard to take care of everybody else when you're dead. But, even throughout all of that, I was still trying to do my part. And I don't want to say, I don't mean it in that context. I was still wanting to help people. And I still do. And that's why I keep pushing forward, no matter what. And and during those years that I was taking care of her, of course I was a lot healthier then. I was working like 72 hours a week. And I'm proud that I had that opportunity to do that for her. And that's how I know that even though I'm going through a really, really challenging time right now. I know I have perseverance. I have resilience. And I'll figure it out one way or another. And I know I have. And back in those days, I wasn't a spiritualist. Tell you the truth, a lot of things that I've been through over the last 5 years since going down this journey, I used to laugh at those people. People who used to claim that they could, you know, uh, see dead people, even though I knew I could in some ways. I always knew I had certain gifts or what have you. Um, but of course, you can't use them for personal gain unless spirit allows it. Um, but it isn't like, oh, because you get people who always say, when they're talking about, somebody who's psychic or or what have you, well, why don't they use it to win the lottery or whatever? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Okay. And whenever I would, hear about people, I used to think that I was just like everybody else. I used to think that tarot readers were frauds. People who claimed to be psychics were frauds, and so on and so forth, until I met actual and like I said, I used to, of course, laugh at a lot of these people until I started going through it all myself. And I found the true ones. Yeah, there's a lot of frauds out there. Don't get me wrong. I know that. But I've also found the true ones, the ones who are on the true path. It isn't like being in a cult or anything like that. Yeah, it has changed my life for a lot better. Because 5 years ago, I was in a very dark place. That's in knowing, everything that I'm facing right now and so forth. I see how much I have really grown and changed over the last 5 years. How much stronger I've gotten. I was a very strong person during those years that I was taking care of my mom and so forth. But I also see now how much I was actually leaning on her too. Um, and that's been basically the whole point of this part of my journey these last 5 years, is for me to find that strength in myself, to lean on myself, and to resolve my issues with spirit. And I know how much, and I know how, I know, I know who I could ask for help now. And spirit has been there for me quite a lot. Yeah, I will admit that I have asked for positive energy and help from other people as well. And I will always be eternally grateful for that. It's time for me to stand on my own 2 feet too. Again. I was going to try not to talk about this. I really was. I was like, no, just walk away from it. But I realized that this channel isn't just about you guys. It's also about me. It's about a way for me to, I've always been somebody who likes to get things out in the open, but usually I've been I keep it within my tight circle. or people, even if it's, not tight circle or whatever, people that I know I could trust. And also another reason for this channel, which I have to remind myself also all the time, is that this is also a source of inspiration for others who may be going through difficult, challenging times themselves, to help you all find it within yourselves to work through whatever it is that you may be having challenges with. But there's this one movie clip that has been going through my head quite a bit over the last week. It's an old movie from the late 80s, with Michael Keaton and Morgan Freeman. It's called Clean and Sober. And that final speech, basically, Michael Keaton plays this. He's some sort of business person. I don't remember if he's a stockbroker or what have you. Some way high powered and so forth. And he has a drug addiction, and he has a all night binger, and he wakes up next morning, and basically the girl he's been screwing all night and doing drugs with and everything, overdoses and dies. And to escape his troubles, he checks himself into a drug rehab clinic, because he also has embezzled money from the company and so on and so forth. And you go throughout the whole movie, with his difficulties and so forth. And at the end, when he makes some sort of mile marker, I don't remember what it was. He's going through everything that he's been through. And he one of the things he says, and I'm $52,000 in debt. But the thing he's proudest of is that chip that he received for his mile marker. That's what he's proudest of. And that's exactly how I've been feeling here lately. I know I could see like I come on a bit strong with things and so forth, but in many ways it's my life force that's coming through. Yeah, I'm not perfect. I yet to find somebody on this planet that is. We all have problems. We all have challenges. We all have our highs and our lows. Some people, yeah, it might be a bit draining for some people. Oh well. Maybe you should look at yourself too. Mm-hmm. And it isn't that I'm doing it to find meaning in my life or anything. I know my meaning in my life is to be my true authentic self, no matter what. And that true authentic self is to spread light in any way, shape, or form. And I'm damn proud of what I've accomplished. I'm damn proud of, give me a break. Look at what I've dealt with over the last couple of years. If you knew everything I've dealt with since my mom passed away, or hell, even before that. I know I've alluded to some things. You'd be in awe, amazed. And I remind myself of those things too. Yeah, I've gotten older. Because of it, I'm more tired. Life has gotten me down over the years. But you know what? I'm still here. And that's my chip. That's my chip. I'm still here. And I'm pushing through. Despite what people are saying, tell me to do, and so forth. Like, no. I know better. I know one of the things that people keep telling me, you should get on disability. People unfortunately think that, oh, you apply and you're approved the next day or within a few weeks or something. It doesn't work like that, people. It could take you months just to get into the introductory interview. Especially these days. I've seen it happen too many times with people, with friends and so forth. Some people lost everything. And the way I look at it is that I am still healthy enough. Yeah, I'm working a job that is paying me peanuts. I am well below my pay grade. But you know what? I'm still fucking working. Fuck you. That's the way I look at it. I'm still working, at least. I'm still trying to make my own way instead of laying on my back. I had an aunt who did that. There was no reason why she should have been on disability. And I'm like, no, that's not going to be me. And she got fat and lazy and everything. I refuse to be that person. Call it ego. I don't give a fuck. I know when it's time. I know. And it's not time. I have too much vigor in me still. Well, but you can still work. Yeah, a limited amount, and I would never be able to go after the things that I want to go after. Yeah, this is a challenging time. But I'm not ready. Like I said, I have too much vigor in me still. And it's not time. It's not time for me to give up. And I'm not willing to do that. I have a couple friends who are on disability, and they basically own nothing. That's not what I want. I want to be able to own a home one day. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to do nature photography and so forth. And unfortunately, being on a limited fixed income doesn't incorporate that. And I'm not willing to do that. So here I am. I am laying everything out. I am being vulnerable. I am spilling everything out, whether anybody likes it or not. And I don't give a fuck if anybody ever watches this. I really don't. Because if you can't handle reality, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Get out of my kitchen. Here's some cold water. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. So, glad I had this talk with myself. And if anybody is watching this or is going to watch this at some point in the future, I hope it inspires you to keep fighting the fucking good fight. Because let's face it, this world, they will, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why everybody keeps staying in survival mode when there is so much more beauty out there. I posted a picture of sunset last night, and also pictures of my little baby and myself this morning. And it's like, that's what I have to be grateful for. Having the opportunities to see this beautiful world for what it really is instead of what we're making it. And what I have to be grateful for. Everything that I have fought for my whole entire fucking life. I'm not going to lose it. And I sure as hell am not going to be one of those people who's going to walk away from my baby just because things get hard. You wouldn't do that with your own child. Why would you do it with your pet? Fuck you. On that note, I still love you guys. And I'll talk to you all later.